The moment everyone had been dreading finally arrived. After weeks of prayer, reflection, and quiet tears behind the scenes, Lawson and Tiffany Bates shared the heartbreaking news no one wanted to hear. The time had come for them to say goodbye. The air was heavy in their Tennessee home that morning. The walls, once filled with laughter, music, and dreams of the future, now echoed with a fragile silence. Tiffany sat curled up on the couch, clutching a small blanket she'd crocheted for the baby, soft cream yarn, unfinished on one side. Her fingers traced the stitches as tears slipped silently down her cheeks. Lawson sat beside her, his hand resting protectively on hers, his usually steady voice trembling. "I keep thinking this can't be real," he whispered. "We had so many plans, so many hopes." The couple had shared their pregnancy joy with the world only months before. Glowing smiles, ultrasound photos, and promises of a new chapter. But sometimes life writes a different story than the one we imagine. The doctor's words still echoed in their minds, heavy and cruel in their finality. Tiffany took a deep breath, her voice breaking as she spoke. "I carried them under my heart for all those weeks. I felt them kick, move, grow, and now—" She couldn't finish. The sentence dissolved into sobs that shook her entire body. Lawson wrapped around her, his own tears falling freely. "You are the strongest woman I know," he murmured. "Our baby knew nothing but love every single day." They sat together for what felt like hours, the world outside continuing on. Cars passing, birds singing, the sun shining through the window, while their world seemed to stand still. On the table beside them lay a small box filled with precious keepsakes, a tiny onesie, a printed ultrasound photo, a hospital wristband. Memories of a dream that lived so briefly but burned so brightly. Later that evening, they decided to take a drive. The sun was setting, painting the Tennessee hills in shades of pink and gold. Tiffany rolled down the window, feeling the cool autumn air brush her face. "It's so beautiful," she whispered. Lawson glanced at her, eyes glistening in the fading light. "It's like heaven's reminding us that beauty still exists, even when it hurts." They parked near the old wooden fence overlooking the valley, their favorite spot, where they had once talked about baby names and future family picnics. This time, the silence between them was sacred. Tiffany opened the small box, pulling out the folded blanket. Together they prayed, thanking God for the precious little life they'd been blessed to carry, even for such a short time. When she finished, Tiffany looked up at the sky, where the first stars were beginning to appear. "Goodbye, my sweet baby," she whispered. "We'll see you again one day." Lawson squeezed her hand, his voice breaking. "Until then, you'll always be a part of us." As the night settled in, they sat quietly, their tears mingling with the soft evening breeze. Grief and love intertwined, painful but beautiful. Though their arms were empty, their hearts would forever hold the memory of their baby's brief but precious life. When they finally headed home, Tiffany turned to Lawson with a faint smile. "This isn't the end," she said softly. "It's just goodbye for now." Lawson nodded, looking up at the stars. "Goodbye for now," he echoed. And in that sacred moment, though their hearts ached with loss, there was also peace, the quiet, unshakable kind that comes from knowing that love, once given, never truly dies.